So far, there hasn't been a response from Buckingham Palace to this interview, but remember that it went out at what was 1 a.m. in the morning here in the UK. So it's going to be broadcast here in Britain today, this evening. And so while those messages are, of course, making it over the pond to British television screens and newspapers, the full interview hasn't been seen by most people. And indeed, those in the palace were probably fast asleep while this was already starting a fire over in America. But these are big allegations. And indeed, they will be something that the palace may well want to answer to. The allegations so far have been that there was racism within the royal family from an unnamed member of the family about the skin colour of Meghan's then unborn baby. Also, that she was suicidal during her time as a working royal, and that when she brought this to their attention, they simply didn't want to help her. In fact, they said that she couldn't seek professional help because it looked bad for the image of the family. These are very strong allegations, and of course they'll know exactly what that will do in terms of the reputation of the royal family. But all the way through, they were very clear that they support the Queen, that they still feel great warmth and affection for her. But many in the United Kingdom this morning are saying that this is, in fact, an attack on the Queen, the royal family, and therefore Great Britain itself.
You know, Jonathan, Meghan there in the interview argues, and the part that we just heard, that the skin tone or the worries about the skin tone explained why their son was not given the title of prince. But I thought previously they said that it was their choice not to give him the title of prince, so he has a normal life, so to speak. So where did the truth stand?
Indeed, and that's something that people will be asking, because at the time when the baby was born, baby Archie, it was explained that they didn't want him to have that title of prince. It is discretionary at the monarch's discretion whether or not a great-grandchild gets the title prince. Some do, some don't. And it was explained at the time, as you say, that the reason that Archie wasn't a prince was that the parents didn't want it. But now they're saying it was never their decision. They were simply told that it wasn't something he was going to receive. So, of course, it's a question of he said, she said. And this is part of the interesting factor of this interview, is that Meghan said that to the outside, things look very different. And that people looking at the royal family and the stories that they're fed about the royal family, both in the press and the official lines put out by the palace, need to remember that for the real people living inside the family, the real people as working royals, things are quite different and not always as they seemed. Indeed, she said that the royal family, the institution, was willing to lie about her and her husband and not correct lies in the newspaper, but they were willing to tell lies in order to protect other members of the royal family. And again, there were certainly hints, sometimes more than that, that she felt this was because of her racial background.
Okay. Jonathan, just last before we part, Prince Harry also mentions his mother, Princess Diana, in the interview. Does he do it as a role model for him?
Well, he was asked what he thought Princess Diana would think of what he's done. He said that he thought she would be very disappointed what's happened to them, but that she would be supportive and hoping that they would have some sort of happiness. I'm not quoting directly there, but certainly there were resonances of Princess Diana's famous interview in the 90s in this interview. And certainly this may be as explosive as that interview was at that time for the royal family.